Hello. Hey. How's everybody doing? So we're gonna shoot a couple part web series about glazing and firing and holds and kilns and all that stuff. My name is Joshua Heim. I'm the founder and creator of JH Pottery Works. It's a class-based clay community. We teach classes. We do 2-hour events called Play and Clay. We do clay camps for kids, like that one, but she's a little young, so that's all right. And let's see what else we do. And I make custom pottery. So yeah, and I've been doing this for 16 years. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll make it up. It'll be totally awesome. But we're gonna talk about all those things and more on these next couple videos. So let's jump to it. First things first, one of the biggest questions I got is, can you refire a piece? And the short answer is yes. Which is, yeah, a short answer. So, you can refire a piece for several reasons. You didn't like how the glaze came out, or you didn't like the overall look, or it was under fired, or it was fired in one type of firing, say electric or gas or wood, and you want to put it in another type of firing. You are the person that determines when a piece is done. You do not have to be satisfied with the overall look of the piece. So we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to use this cup. So this piece here had a little bit of the glaze crawl off of it, and this is one of my white studio glazes on brown bear clay from Kentucky Mudworks. Awesome clay, by the way. And it crawled off the pot a little bit, and I wasn't a huge fan. So how do we solve something like that? Here's the problem. This clay went to cone 6 and is now fully vitrified. The reason we being potters, tend to put glaze on at the bisque stage is because the gaps between the clay particles are still open, so they're still porous, kind of like a terracotta pot. So that is why a water-based glaze gets absorbed really nicely on bisque-fired ware, is because the bisque is still porous. But this is not porous anymore because this went to cone 6. So what are some things we can do to help glaze stick to something that doesn't want to have glaze on it anymore? I know, isn't that nuts? So what you're going to need is a heat source of some sort, whether it is a torch or a heat gun, but we are going to warm up the pot to allow the glaze to stick to the vessel and adhere a lot easier than if we just dunk the pot into the glaze by itself. Whoa, yeah, buddy, we need a heat source. You might have little ones around, so a heat gun can be equally as effective. And what you would do is use the heat gun to warm up the pot. And this is where I'll bring in a banding wheel, because shocker, when you apply heat to something ceramic, it's gonna get warm and it might hurt your fingers. I know, that was a free tip. That comes with, the lesson. But what I can do is I can apply heat as I slowly rotate the vessel and get it warmed up, and that will allow the glaze to stick a lot better when I dunk it in the bucket and try to get more glaze to adhere to the vessel and then refire it. I would recommend maybe doing 2 layers, and you can also use the same heat gun to dry each glaze after it is applied, and then just put it back in your kiln and refire it. And that should help take care of that issue of the glaze crawling off a little bit. Now, that is not the end-all fix. You might run into some other issues that other spots might come off or do something different, because we all know how chaotic the kiln gods can be and fickle. So it could come out really, really nice, or it could come out worse, or it could come out in between. You just never know, but what the main thing is, you need to try. Now, I mentioned earlier, what if you have a piece of pottery that was fired in one type of atmosphere and you weren't really thrilled with the overall look? Case in point, I have this wood-fired mug, which the outside came really pretty. I really like it. However, due to the high walls of the vessel, the inside got some flashing and some coloration, but it didn't quite glaze the way I really wanted or get as much soda action as I was hoping on the inside. So what am I left to do? So I have this second piece that was also fired in the same kiln at the same time, almost side by side from each other, which you can tell. And I did not put a glaze on the inside. But what I did later was I used my heat trick method. So then what I did is I took my Cone 6 electric raspberry glaze and poured it on the inside and then dumped it all out. And then I put it back in the electric kiln and fired it to Cone 6. And then this was the end result. Now, what's really cool is that wood ash is a natural flux. No, not the flux capacitor from Back to the Future, which is amazing, by the way. Flux as in melter, melting agent, that sort of thing. So that is why some of the wood ash got a lot more glossy on this pot than it did on this pot. That's one way how we can use heat to warm up a vessel to allow the glaze to stick a lot better, and then we can refire it and hopefully have a better result, which is really cool. So if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. I am ridiculously easy to find on social media, JH Pottery Works, under Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can email me at jhpottery23@gmail.com. And yeah, let's talk pottery. We'll have a lot of fun, I promise. That's how we can change the overall look of a piece of pottery or fix a glaze flaw that might have happened. Ah! Come on. It's a lot harder than you really think it is.